Hey, this is a video.
Oh,
So this is Art Laboe, who's talking to Dave Presher from the Digital Tribe.
yes, yes, yes.
And I've known Art since I was a first GM. And he picked me up in a limousine. And he's still #1 in Los Angeles and Las Vegas. What's your secret to success, Art?
Don't date any women under 30.
Tell us a little bit about the time you met...
Don't date anybody under 30.
Tell us about the time you met Frank Sinatra.
Oh. He met me. I was walking out of the Plaza Theater after I did a radiothon in 1948 in Palm Springs. I was walking out of the theater, I got a tap on the shoulder, I turn around, he says, I'm Frank Sinatra. I says, I know who you are. He says, I wanted to meet you, I wanted to shake hands with you. You did a great job for the Palm Springs hospital. Saved the hospital with your radiothon. That's how I met Frank Sinatra.
And who was he with?
At that time he was by himself, but later he was with Ava Gardner in her prime.
Tell us about the time you met Elvis.
Oh, there's several times. I think the most important one was the first and the last. The last time was a year before he died in his suite at the International, and he sat with me for about a half hour talking to me about self-realization. He was serious about it.
Tell about the time that Chuck Berry and Jerry Lee Lewis fought over who should go last.
Oh, well, let's see. The managers, they're both playing for Alan Freed in New York, and they both wanted to close the show in those days. They were both big stars, and there was Jerry Lee Lewis and
Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry, that's right. They had other stars. They had the Drifters and others. And so the managers are fighting who's going to close the show. Both artists say, I won't go on. I always close the show. Chuck Berry says, I always close the show. I'm not going on. Jerry Lee Lewis says, I always close the show. I'm not going on. They wouldn't go on. Finally, they go back and forth, and Alan Freed comes and talks to them both. Says, look, guys, you can't screw up my show, you know. So finally, he convinces Jerry Lee Lewis to go on before Chuck Berry, reluctantly. Well, I'll do it, you know. So he goes on, does his whole Jerry Lee Lewis thing. I mean, banging on the piano, his hair is flying, and he's spinning around on this stool and playing the piano with his feet and his hands, everything, and everybody's, you know, screaming and hollering, and in the meantime, he had sent 2 of his cronies to the nearby drugstore to buy some lighter fluid. And as he's doing all this, they come in, they pour the lighter fluid, sneak underneath the piano, and put this lighter fluid all over the piano. They light the piano on fire, and Jerry Lee Lewis is in the middle of his screaming and hollering, spinning around, jumps up on the piano, the fire is right at his feet, gets back down, spins around, hair is in his face, great balls of fire, great balls of fire, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. The piano's burning, he gets up, takes the bell, leaves the stage, the piano's burning. People are going crazy. They're in the aisles, they're jumping on top of each other, screaming, hollering. He goes backstage. Chuck Berry's standing there with his guitar. He says, go get him, son.
I love that story.
True story. All in my book. Forthcoming.